It is a shame that here in Africa, we always have to follow after the footsteps of either the Europeans or the Americans. It bothers me so much to see the rise in the third wave feminism, especially right here in Nigeria, Africa. Why does it bother me? I ask myself every single time, what is the use of feminism in 21st century, considering the fact that the cause of feminism itself had already been established? If you look at the history of feminism, you ask yourself what is the true concept of feminism and what did feminism come to achieve right here when it began its course. When you look at the forerunners of feminism in Europe, like Mary Wollstonecraft, in America, Susie Anthony, Lucy Stone, and very many others like Betty Friedan, you begin to ask yourself why they stood up and tried to fight for the female cause. Of course, when you look at pre-industrial revolution, when you look at the nature of dealings between men and women, you would notice that there was oppression on the female gender in some cases or in very many areas. Like, for example, once upon a time, women were not allowed to vote, and women themselves could not choose their spouses or their partners. Also, women did not have rights to education, and women were oppressed in very many areas, as, for example, women could not even chase their dreams or get equal payments in places of work. And now with feminism coming into play, with the efforts from most of these forerunners, these feminists, feminism has gained its ground and women have been able to get almost everything, if not even more than the things that they once clamored and fought for. For example, women can now vote. Yes, women can vote in virtually every part of the world. Women now can choose their partners every single place where they go. And also women have rights to even own properties. Women can also chase their dreams and follow up with things that they want to. Women have actually gotten every single thing that they fought for. The emancipation of women is very evident in every part of the world today. Now one would ask, now, if women have gotten every single thing that the cause of feminism put in front and said now they want to achieve, if women have achieved all of this, what then is the use of the third wave feminism that we are now experiencing today? I am sad at the fact that the third wave feminism does not even seem like feminism to me, and that very many people, even in Europe as well as here in Africa, do not understand the true concept of feminism. For to me, feminism has already achieved every single thing that it set out to achieve, and what we are seeing today is more like misandry disguised as feminism, and it does not seem like feminism to me. Chimamanda said we should all be feminists, likewise men. The truth is that when you look at it very well, the aim of feminism was not only to come to liberate women. For even prior to the feministic advocacy, you would realize that men themselves were passing through a burdened fatherhood, and many women often mourned their husbands very early in marriages. Feminism did not come only to liberate women, but also to liberate men, for the equality of which feminism fought for was such that while women sought out to work in very many industries, men themselves could also be eased of the burden of fatherhood. But now, here we are now, and yes, it is happening. We even have women in some cases who earn more than their men earn, and it is not a problem. We have families where the women are also more educated than most of the male child in the family, and it is always very much okay. Now, ask yourself what feminists are fighting for now in this age. Now, I had to go through YouTube to see certain videos, I came through this Trevor Noah's video where he said, women have always been inclusive. They have always been included in very many actions in Africa. So he's wondering why feminism will still be taking place, or what the feminist views or the feminist cause will still be trying to champion in this our very age. He gave an example to say that even though, yes, the apartheid regime included very many men like Steve Biko, Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, to mention a few. Most of these men, some died and some were imprisoned. And while they were in prison, it is necessary to note that their wives and very many women championed the cause of apartheid and helped in the civil rights movements. So to show you now that women have always had a voice in pre-colonial Africa and even post-colonial Africa. And so here we are today again. And women are also taking part in very major and strategic places in governmental positions. We have Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who was once the president, or even more than once the president of the World Bank. She has also held various many strategic positions in the area of finance and have performed well. Chima Amanda has also done well in the literature zone, as well as very many other females that have been progressing in both education, politics, and to mention a few, even in agriculture and the oil sector. And so even in the area of marriage, women now can choose their partners, even right here in Africa. And so one will wonder why very many women are buying into the toxic feminism, or the toxic so-called feminism that is being touted online or being sold to them by the European media. And it is breaking families. The feminism that is being pushed today in the media is breaking family right here in Africa. Today now, when you look at the African social space, you will see a surge, a rise in the red pill movement, something that has never been thought of before in the African climate. But now we have very many red pillars that are beginning to rise up, and it is not healthy for the African continent at large. For now in Nigeria now, we have very many names like Allah Kaduna, Evangelist Edo Baba, to mention a few. When you look at these names, they are actually rising up against the toxic feminism of which they are discontented with in the social media space. And I do not know, I wish that we can actually try to delete that side of the African social space, as it is not healthy for both the family and also our social environment. I hope that we can do away with that, for it is not necessary in the African climate right now. For African women have always been included, and African women have not been as oppressed as they are made to believe. In one of the videos where I will play for you, the woman said, I think her name is Dr. Nokuzula Mdende, she said that most women are not oppressed, and that in most cases you will find out that it is some of the African women who have been educated in the Western climate, or who have gained Western education, who come to remind or make the women in the rural areas feel as though they are oppressed. She said, if you are oppressed, you do not need to be told that you are oppressed, but rather you yourself will know that you are oppressed. And so oftentimes it is as if that although very many African women are actually contented, very many African women are comfortable and they are okay in whatever dealings that they are involved in. But oftentimes they pay attention to the things they are not supposed to pay attention to, and they buy into the narrative that is often sold to them. And so it is not healthy, as we now have to understand that even in families, very many African men go out there to work very hard for their families, and all that they expect from their women is to play the motherly role at home. And our grandmothers and our mothers have played these roles. Now here we are now in this current space, and we have very many women singing the independent song. Independent women, but how helpful is it going to be to the African family, and how helpful will it be to the African continent in general? If now feminism come and breaks and the family chain, what will now become of the state itself? For family is the greatest state of all time. And so here I am pleading with us as Africans to see for ourselves and think for ourselves. For Kanye West said in one of his songs titled, I Wonder, he said, the independent sheet, is that worth trading for your family and some kids? That is food for thought, and let us think it over. I hope that maybe these little sayings of mine would make way into our hearts. We as African men and women will be able to see for ourselves and ask ourselves, why the need for third wave feminism? For here we are today, and we are doing perfectly okay. But now if we continue to push this whole narrative of women not being okay, whereas women are perfectly doing okay, then we would at the end of the day ruin the bliss that we've always had, but did not take our time to notice that has been in existence. That will be all for today, and I'll see you next time.